Good morning. Or should I say happy Monday? Shit. What is this? Let me see something here. Okay, here we go. That's better. Um, Listen, I said that and by the way, I have on my workout because honey, I'm going to work out today. But I said I want to start doing, like Monday through Friday, at least 3 days out the week, maybe four on this channel. It's just me talking about, trending news topics, politics, or whatever. Honey, I can't do this morning. I'm not doing, and I'm not going to even call it Dana in the morning. I'm just going to say podcast talk with Dana because I'm gonna switch it to noontime because I'm still sleeping. Now I could get up because it was a 10 a.m. class today that I wanted to take, so that too. But even if I'm not taking a class, like I have to get up, I get dressed, get in the shower, get dressed, coffee, breakfast, or whatever, and I have my coffee here and I still have morning sleepy face, and I don't like that. Not to be on camera, honey, is way too early. My eyes need to perk up a little bit more. And I'm not a morning person. I'm actually a night person. But because I'm getting up early, I go to bed early, which forces me to get up like around 7, and I'm laying in bed till like around 8. So it was like, okay, I might as well start my day. And I'm getting a dog this week. I'm adopting a dog. But the point I'm trying to make here is whatever I do in the morning, however early I get up, I cannot come on camera before 12 a.m. before 12 p.m. So going forward, it's not going to be Dana in the morning. This is going to be podcast talk with Dana, and you're going to be seeing me at noontime. And that's probably better. But anyway, we have a really good show. Um, I want to talk about JD Vance and his CNN interview with Dana Bash, honey. He ethered her a little bit. And of course, I want to go to talk about Tulsi Gabbard. I guess Kamala Harris did not forget that she ethered her in that debate 4 years ago. So now she put her on a terrorist watch list. Why? I don't know. And as you can see down here, Joe Biden, he did an interview with CBS and he said, listen, I was forced out. Why would you say that, right? You're not supposed to talk bad about your party like that. And as you see on this one, the black girl, I'll get to that in a minute. But Kamala Harris was caught lying again. It resurfaced. She keep lying, saying that her favorite rapper alive is Tupac. And it's like, honey, he been dead for over 20 years. So, girl. All right. Let's see. And it's Monday. So I don't know. I didn't do a morning show last week, Monday. So I don't know what this morning crowd is going to look like. Hi, Sister T. So, yeah. What I want to start with first. Let's start with, actually, let me share this. Let's start with Kamala. Hmm. Let me move myself down here. All right, this is better. All right, so real quick. So Kamala Harris did a rally in Arizona this past weekend. And this was as close she has ever been to a press conference. And this is C-SPAN. So you're going to stop and answer a question or two from C-SPAN. But they was basically asking her about, ceasefire in Gaza, Israel. So let me just play this clip.
Next week.
Okay, so the first question was, when is she going to roll out her policy platform? And she did say next week. So I'm looking forward, which is this week. Well, this was Saturday. So either it's this week, late in the week, or next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what is her policy. It should be a copy paste from Joe Biden.
And it'll be focused on the economy and what we need to do to bring down costs and also strengthen the economy overall.
Can you give us a sense reaction to the Israeli strike in Gaza today that killed at least 80 people? That's the death.
Yet again, there are far too many civilians who've been killed. I mean, Israel has a right to go after the terrorists that are Hamas. But as I have said many, many times, they also have, I believe, an important responsibility to avoid civilian casualties.
Madam Vice President, you've been saying that since October 7th, and that has been the administration's policy for many, many months now. As tens of thousands of civilians have been killed, I mean, there are people who are asking for limitations on arms to Israel, any kind of change. What do you say to those folks who are looking for more than we should look out for civilians?
Well, look, first and foremost, and the president and I have been working on this around the clock, we need to get the hostages out. We need a hostage deal and we need a ceasefire. And I can't stress that strongly enough. It needs to get done. The deal needs to get done, and it needs to get done now.
On economy, I know you're going to speak about that this coming week.
Yeah.
Can you give us a sense on what your view is on the Fed and independence of the Fed? President Trump weighed in on that list last week and said he thought he should have some say in the Fed's decisions.
I couldn't disagree, more strongly. The Fed is an independent entity, and as president, I would never interfere in the decisions that the Fed makes.
And what's your take on their policies right now? There was some concern last week as the market fell that there might be a recession coming. What's your view on that?
Well, as we know, there was some turbulence this week, but it seems to have settled itself, and we'll see what the decisions they make next. And I hear about them about the same time you do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what day you will roll out?
Have you started your convention
Reaction
speech?
to the Trump campaign saying it's-
Thank you.
All right, so that was it. So that was her first official press conference. And if you notice, when Kamala Harris has her rallies, she only talks for no more than 15, 20 minutes. So it could be a 2-hour rally. She comes out at the end. She talks for 15, 20 minutes. She's off the stage. That's it. You have the VP and you have the other guest speakers from whatever state, city that the rally is held in talking. But when Trump does his rallies, he's literally, those rallies are like 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. He's literally, by the time he comes on a stage to talk, he talks for a minimum of 1 hour. Big difference. What are you talking about? He's talking about everything. So why can't she do the same? Hold on for a second. Sorry about that. I had to do something. So, all right. What I want to start, you know what? I'll start with, I guess, Tulsi Gabbard. No, let me go here to Joe Biden. So over the weekend, Joe Biden did a 101. And he basically came out and said, the Democrat Party colleagues, the House and the Senate, thought that it was going to hurt the race if he stayed in.
Look, the polls we had showed that it was a neck and neck race, would have been down to the wire. But what happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races. And I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic. You'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did so? And I thought it'd be a real distraction. Look,
What is he talking about? So you mean to tell me the Democratic Party already knew the odds of you winning were low. So let's replace him with someone else. And listen, and by the way, I will be streaming the Trump Elon Musk interview live on the Real Dana channel tonight. And we're going to have, and Judge Joe Brown will be there because we do a show every Monday, even though we kind of on hiatus. But I want to talk to the judge about this in details when we come back on the show. Not today, because you can't sit up here and say, okay, I want to bow out and I'm going to put my VP up to run. There are some technicalities with that. So he's basically admitting that they were not going to win. Well, there's no guarantee that Kamala is going to win. So what he's essentially saying is, I'm unable to run for president. I really shouldn't be president now. I'm sick. The House, the Democrat House and Senate know this, seen this, knew it would be a disaster if I stayed in. So they literally said, you need to step aside. That's what he should have said, the truth. All this jibbit jabbits, I don't understand it. Just get to the point. And there was another clip that I wanted to play of his.
Think of this. Every other time the Ku Klux Klan's been involved, they wore hoods, so they're not identified. Under his presidency, they came out of those woods with no hoods, knowing they had an ally. That's how I read it. They knew they had an ally in the White House. And he stepped up for them. Think of this. Every other time the Ku Klux Klan's been involved, they wore hoods, so they're not identified. Under his presidency, they came out of those woods with no hoods, knowing they had an ally. That's how I read it. They knew they had an ally in the White House. And he stepped up for them. Think of this. Every other time.
What is he talking about? I guess he's talking about Trump. The President Biden says Ku Klux Klan members took off their hoods when Trump was in office, but because they knew they had an ally in the White House, this man, oh, they said this man, yeah. So basically, he's saying the Ku Klux Klan, they didn't have to wear no more hoods. They felt comfortable because Trump was in office and that was their ally. Are you kidding me? When it has been known that Joe Biden and what's this Thurman out of South Carolina, I forgot his name, the senator out of South Carolina, they were like bosom buddies. He snuggled up to a lot of people who were members of the Klan. So this is basically what is happening with the Democratic Party. They're creating this narrative that Trump is a racist. They're creating this narrative that the Republican Party is full with Ku Klux Klan members. They're just not wearing hoods anymore. They are literally creating a race war in this country, feeding off of people emotions. That's what they're doing. That is exactly what they're doing. So he's trying to save face for the reasons why he stepped down. And the truth of the matter is, that man is sick. He's mentally, physically, psychologically incapable of even being president right now. I don't even think this man is actually running the country. He's not. He can't. He could barely talk straight. Robert Byrd was one of them, and then there was another one. It starts with a T. The judge will be on tonight on the other channel because we're doing a special show. We always do a show Monday and Thursday, but we're on hiatus. But we're doing a special live show tonight because we're going to be streaming the X interview with Elon Musk and Trump tonight. So you will see him tonight on the Real Dana. Yes, this one, Strom Thurmond. Yes, that one. So he's, and the judge said this plenty of times, he is a known racist. He's a known racist. So who are the real people? And stop acting like, first of all, it was a Democrat Party that had majority of Klan members. So it's just the lies that, and first of all, they told him those talking points to say. They have talking points of a narrative to paint your opponent to be evil. I mean, it's politics. It's a competition, right? And majority of people believe. They believe it. So I want to go to Tulsi Gabbard. She should, honestly, she needs to be running for president. She needs to be VP. She needs to be vice president. She will be and would have been a better vice president than Kamala Harris, whether it was Trump's VP or Biden's VP. She's more qualified. She's smart. She is attractive. She's a patriot, true patriot, right? She's a foundational American. And she's not lying about her background or pretending to be something she's not. But I remember Tulsi, she really became the star when she was running for president 4 years ago. And she was on a debate stage with the other Democrats running for president. And she ethered Kamala Harris with nothing but facts. And I think I want to play the clip to remind people why, the reasons why Tulsi Gabbard is being surveillanced by the government and put on the terrorist watch list. So when she gets in a plane to fly, it has to be a U.S. Marshal on that plane. So the government is tracking her. They pull her on a terrorist watch list. And it was all because of this here. Actually, let me stop and reshare it.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. When you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
All right. So that was the moment where Kamala Harris running for presidency campaign ended. And so fast forward now, 4 years later, the Biden administration puts her on a terrorist watch list. Are you kidding me? Stop asking me where the judge is. Stop. The judge is coming. You will see him on the Real Dana tonight. He doesn't do anything in the morning. This is just me talking. This is something that I'm doing. So you'll see him tonight. Thank you, Barb. I'm trying to be consistent with myself and get used to this. That's why I'm mainly doing it. Willie. Yes, Tulsi will be a good VP for Trump. JD is good too, but she will be good. She will be good in any administration position. So fast forward to today, right? She did an interview with Fox and she was explaining she was added to a terrorist watch list.
So what exactly did Tulsi Gabbard do to get added to the terror watch list? It came the day after she criticized the Biden administration right here on The Angle.
Our foreign policy decisions are being made by unelected people in the military-industrial complex who are profiting from us being in a constant state of war, and the national security state that has more power to undermine our freedoms and liberties when we are in a state of war. Kamala Harris does not have the strength to stand up to the military-industrial complex.
Okay, that's wild. Joining me now, Tulsi Gabbard, former U.S. Congresswoman, Fox News contributor. Tulsi, now you serve this country in uniform, even getting deployed to Iraq. Thank you for going, unlike Tim Walz. And now you're being surveilled. I mean, it's a form of surveillance or hassling and intrusion upon your freedom to move by the government. What is this? I mean, I didn't believe it really when I first heard about it. I said, oh, that can't be. But how does this make you feel?
Laura, this is a clear act of political retaliation. There's no other way to put it. You laid out the sequence of events the very next day after my conversation with you on the air, warning the American people about how dangerous a Kamala Harris presidency would be. I was placed on this domestic terror watch list, which is called the Quiet Skies list under the Department of Homeland Security. The clear pain and real visceral hurt that comes from this is, as you mentioned, like many Americans, I enlisted because of the terrorist attacks on 9/11 to go after the Islamist terrorists who attacked us on that day, and to now have my own government now turn around and put me on a domestic terror watch list. It hits to the core and is the ultimate sense of betrayal. But we look at why they are doing this. It has a chilling effect. It sends a warning both to me and to anyone else who even thinks about daring to criticize our own government, which is a guaranteed protected right under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
That we will be subject to a violation of our Fourth Amendment right to privacy through this kind of surveillance. And that's the biggest stress that's been caused by this entire situation, Laura, is now forever. I will always be looking over my shoulder, wondering if and how our government in any of these different agencies is surveilling me, watching me. Are they reading my text messages? Are they listening to my phone calls?
Yeah, I was going to say yes, yes, and yes. That's what I would guess, at least. Now, in a letter from whistleblower attorney Tristan Levitt, he writes that the special mission coverage in Ms. Gabbard's case reportedly involves 2 explosive detection canine teams, 1 transportation security analyst and explosives, 1 plainclothes TSA supervisor, and 3 federal air marshals on every flight Ms. Gabbard boards. I mean, I'm not laughing, Tulsi, because this is literally like the Soviet Union, China today, North Korea, any totalitarian regime. But Donald Trump's a totalitarian, right? He's the dictator in waiting. Okay.
Yeah, this is just, and this is what we know about, and we know about it because of these brave whistleblowers from the Air Marshal Service who are coming forward. What I'm questioning is, what are the things that are happening in our government that I don't know about? How long have they been surveilling me? This is just a recent occurrence. I would not be surprised to know that there are other government agencies who are also being weaponized against political opponents, those who dare to challenge this regime, the Biden-Harris administration. And that's really what it comes down to, and why they have to be stopped. We are guaranteed the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I cannot be free. And you pointed to this. Yes, exactly. I cannot be free so long as my government is breathing down my neck and watching my every move.
Well, we got to go, but we're going to be following this closely, demanding that this be completely withdrawn, and whoever is responsible for this decision, and there's one person who made the decision, should be fired immediately. But this should never, ever happen in the United States of America.
To anyone.
Tulsi, no, to anybody.
Thank you.
I think this is the tip of the iceberg, and I know Donald Trump is not surprised by any of this.
Oh, I was muted. So, yeah. So,
if you're not making
listen, I think everyone knows that Kamala Harris and, oh, this wasn't it. Was this it? Oh, this was the same thing. Yeah. Everybody knows that they have some type of inclination that it was Kamala Harris, it was her people, it was the Biden administration. Because you could go to the Secretary of Defense and say, put this person on a terrorist watch list, and that's what happens. Well, why are you putting her on there? So that is crazy. We have millions of illegal migrants literally coming out of the prisons in Venezuela in this country, getting all types of resources, breaking all types of crimes. And they're not on a terrorist watch list. Actually, they're being arrested and let go. But you're going to put this woman on a terrorist watch list? Because what? Because she actually talk about the facts. She talk about, all of the things that this administration is doing wrong, or how this administration is destroying this country. So that is a problem. Yes, when you are violating somebody's First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, you're talking about people's constitutional rights. So if she's the first one, there's going to be others following suit. It really is. I want to get to the JD Vance on CNN. I think he did a really, really good job talking, being interviewed on CNN with Dana Bash. And this is, I don't know, maybe his fourth or fifth interview and and he's done press conference and interviews, right? Since he has been announced the VP running mate with Donald Trump. Kamala Harris, even Tim Walz has done nothing. They have done nothing. No interviews, no press conference. You just nominated this man to be your running mate, Tim Walz. So why hasn't he sat down to be interviewed yet? It's been what? Damn near a week. So this is JD Vance on CNN.
And on the question of when he left the National Guard, he filed his election paperwork February 10th, 2005. That was a month before the National Guard even announced that it was possible that they would deploy to Iraq. And it ended up being 2 months. He retired 2 months before they actually got the paperwork.
But on CNN last night, Dana, one of the people who was actually in charge of him said they knew they were going to deploy to Iraq in February of 2004. Fall of 2004. So he knew he was going to Iraq. He decided to quit, to retire, whatever word you want to use.
Retire.
Because he wanted to run for Congress. He lied about that. He said that when he decided to retire, he did not know that he was going to Iraq. That is another untruth, as even his senior military officer said. So again, I'm not criticizing the service. I'm criticizing the dishonesty. Dishonesty spoken in favor and for the purpose of political benefit. And I think that the most important thing here, Dana, is it goes to Kamala Harris's judgment. Tim Walz is ultimately going to be the vice president. Kamala Harris is in great health. I'm sure she's going to be president if she wins for 4 or maybe even 8 years. Why did Kamala Harris choose a person who has lied about their military service? I think that is a serious lapse in judgment. And I don't want to hear from a campaign spokesperson of Kamala Harris. I want to hear Kamala Harris herself address what I just said.
You know, I've seen a lot of statements from veterans, including those you served with, saying it's just untoward to be criticizing somebody who served for 24 years.
Dana, I'm not interested in the ad hominem. I've heard from a lot of veterans groups who criticize Tim Walz. The question is, he said he served in war and he didn't. That is a dishonesty. I couldn't care less what one or the other person says about it. I care about what the truth is. The truth is that Tim Walz didn't tell the truth. And importantly, Dana, this is about Kamala Harris's judgment. And I think that when you ask, why has Kamala Harris allowed the border to be wide open? Why has Kamala Harris supported policies that have promoted the increase in inflation? I think it goes to the heart of her judgment. And I think that that's what we should be talking about.
One last question. Donald Trump didn't serve in the military. He received a medical draft deferment for bone spurs to avoid serving in the Vietnam War, reportedly as a favor to his father. Do you find that shameful too?
I think that Donald Trump didn't serve in the military, but he didn't lie about it, Dana. I've known Donald Trump for a long time. He
don't think
really honors our
so you
veterans.
think
He
he had
honors me
phones
for my
first?
service. Donald Trump didn't lie about serving in the military. He didn't say that he went to Vietnam when he didn't. This is the problem. I don't criticize anybody, whether they served our country or not. I think it's honorable to serve, but obviously a lot of people have reasons for not serving. I criticize somebody for embellishing their record, for lying, saying, I went to war. Dana, do you think that it's a problem that he said, I went to war, but he didn't actually? That seems to be a problem to me.
Well, they've corrected that. Let's move on to.
They've corrected it by admitting that he
Let's
lied.
move on to another important issue to voters.
Okay. So listen, I have to give it to JD Vance. He did a really good job. He does very well with interviews and press conference. The RNC, he was nervous. So that's in the past. But this man, he does well when he's being interviewed and press conference. So it is a scandal. It is shameful. This is something that should not be swept under the rug, because why, United States of America, why are we such a powerful nation, right? In the world, it is because of our defense. It's because of our military. So people who actually have served in the past, going back to American Revolution and the Civil War, right? To now, you have to respect and honor these veterans. You do. And, it is a privilege to live in this country. But the reason why we get all of these privileges in this country, it is because our military makes sure of such. So if you come up here and you're running for one of the highest positions in this land to be VP, and you're lying about being a veteran or actually being in combat war, that is a disrespect to a lot of people who lost their lives, who sacrificed their lives so that this nation can be free and dominant. And it's a slap in the face to actual veterans who are serving actively today and who have in the past. So why lie about that? Our military actually, especially our veterans, they are not being taken care of properly. There are a lot of homeless veterans. You have illegals coming over here benefiting and getting all of these resources allocated to them, and nothing is going to our veterans. You are taking care of illegal criminals better than the people who actually have kept this nation safe and mighty. That is a problem. So the reason why this is a big scandal, and it should be, and you should be pressuring Tim Walz to explain himself, is because you are using the sacrifice and the courage of real men to make your resume look good. You're falsifying your resume so that you could place yourself to be, qualified, this qualified VP who is a true patriot. Where at the end of the day, you're just a liar, and you prefer tampons in boys' bathrooms than actually going into combat. So it's a big difference. You are known for the tampon dispensary in boys' bathroom in grades, what was it? Third grade to 12th grade. But you're trying to paint yourself as a war veteran because you look weak when you are the tampon man. But that is the fact. You are the tampon man. You are not the veteran man. You are not a man who was in any type of combat. Stress, big difference. Now, as far as Donald Trump, whatever that story is, JD Vance is right. He did not lie. He did not lie about it. He did not even try to cover it up. It is what it is. Because when he was running for presidency, I don't remember that ever being a scandal. Well, it can't be a scandal if you didn't lie about it. When you tell the truth, when you expose yourself, it takes away the power from your enemy, from your opponent. Now, wealthy people coming up with all types of ways to get out of being drafted or military service, that's been an old trick from centuries, for centuries here. So, I mean, is it kind of, shameful to a certain degree? Yeah. But when he did it, he wasn't, not only was he not running for president, he wasn't even trying to be a politician. He was a business person. But again, he didn't lie about it. He didn't hide it. He didn't falsify anything on his resume. And he damn sure ain't the tampon man. So you're going, what should be highlighted is people integrity, the credibility of Harris Walt's so-called administration. So, I appreciate JD Vance calling out Kamala Harris and especially Tim Walz, because that is his opponent, every chance he gets. See, he's ready to battle. I can't wait for that VP debate. I think JD Vance will beat him, especially when it comes to facts and policies. I look at Tim Walz to where he's very loud, and a lot of times people are loud, intentionally loud, because they feel as though if you're loud, you could distract people and you could sound like you know what you're talking about, but he doesn't.
You've now asked me 3 questions about comments that I made 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that opened the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's middle facility for the office. You are interviewing me, Dana, because I respect the American people enough to sit down for an interview.
I appreciate that.
Kamala Harris has been the nominee for 3 weeks. She hasn't sat down for a real
Believe
interview.
me, we are asking. You're not going to get a disagreement there.
But the point is, Dana, you've got me for 15 minutes or however long you have me. We should be talking about public policies that matter. How are we going to lower inflation? How are we going to reduce the cost of food and housing? How are we going to close down that southern border? We've talked so little about that. We've talked a lot more about a sarcastic remark I made 3 years ago. I think we should talk about the issues that most Americans care about.
Which is true. Because you should be talking about public policies. Now, do the American people, do y'all want to hear these politicians talk about policies? No, you don't. No. Because when you go to these rallies, you want to be entertained. You want to be riled up. You want people to feed you lies. You want people to paint a negative narrative about their opponent, because you want to believe. You want to believe with your eyes closed. The sheep. But all of Americans are sheeps. The scary thing is that you are blind sheeps. But we should be focusing on policy. So if Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris, they supposed to have 3 debates. Only 1 debate is confirmed. If you do policy for policy, who's going to win that debate? Even if she talks about the things that this administration has done for America so far, she can't even explain herself thoroughly to be convincing. She's used to word salad. When you're used to talking in word salad and circles, skating over the actual points and facts, it's going to be hard for you to come up against somebody who is quick on their feet and witty, but also is going to speak to the facts of their policy versus yours. The problems with your policy versus theirs when they were in office. And the only go-to talking point that whole Democrat Party has when it comes to Trump and his party is, you are a racist. You want to divide the country. You want to go backwards. This man was president for 4 years. Did we go backwards into time? Did we go back to Jim Crow in any type of capacity? No. What happened when he was president for 4 years? What happened? What does Trump talk about? He talks about a lot of things. When he's at his rallies, he's talking for an hour. He's talking about the people of whatever state and city he's in and their problems. He talks about his opponent. He pokes and makes fun of them. He talks about the problems that this administration is causing this nation. He talks about the things that he wants to do to make it better, to pick up where he left off with before that election was stolen. And I'm pretty sure in his next rally, he's going to talk about copycat Kamala. Because now she's copying his agenda and making it as hers. Because Trump was the one that said, listen, when he becomes president, he's going to say no more taxes on tips. That is a big thing. I don't give a damn about the foreign policy. Do you know that is a major thing? When people are in industries, whether it's the waitress, waiters, valets, massage therapists, these people, the people in these industries that get tips, that rely on tips, it started being taxed under the Biden administration. You know how much that hurts them? And how these businesses were cheating them out their money? Tips, gratuity, a majority of the time determines if that person is going to be homeless or not, if that person is going to have enough food to put on their family's table. So when he came out and said that he is going to remove the taxes from gratuity, from tips, people who don't know anything about public policy or geopolitics, they're going to vote for that man on that alone. And they should. And they should, which is why she turned around this weekend and said, oh, I'm going to take away taxes on tips. And I'm just like, wait a minute, you're in a room full of what? Allegedly 20,000 people. And you actually said it to the crowd and on television nationwide, the same thing that Donald Trump said, and you're making it your own. They're not hiding anything. She's full of shit because, wait a minute, you're VP right now. You are like this with Biden because he ain't running shit. You are. Why don't you do it now? Why don't you say, oh, Donald Trump says he's going to take away taxes from tips? How about Joe Biden just signed the executive order to do it now? Or we already done it. Why are you waiting until you are president if you are? Do it now. But that wasn't even your idea. That was your opponent. So he talks about everything. But if you are a lifelong Democrat and you believe in your party, and that's fine. If you believe in Joe Biden, that's fine. If you believe in Kamala Harris, because especially if you think she's black, that's your business. Stay over there because you're partly delusional. Don't sit up here and say, girl, bye, when I'm actually talking facts about what this administration is currently not doing and what the opponent is saying he will do. And then now you have this administration saying, oh, I'm going to do it too when I become president. Well, bitch, do it now. Because you can. You are in position to do it now. With a stroke of a pen. You don't even need the approval from Congress. So you should be saying, girl, bye to your fake black sister, Kamala Harris. I don't try to persuade anybody to vote for Trump or to not vote for Kamala. Your vote is your vote for your own personal reasons. But what you are not going to do is say that she's good for the country and you can't even give me a reason why. A real, actual, factual reason why she's good for the country or has been good for the country. because she hasn't done anything. And if you are saying, well, she's black and she's a black woman, I'm definitely looking at you like you got 3 heads. So I'm focused on policy. I voted for Hillary Clinton. And I'm glad she didn't win. Because when we had Trump, and the only reason why I wasn't voting for Trump, I'm like, he has no experience being a politician. So I'm glad he won because it allowed me to, one, see how a non-politician performs in the White House or in these positions, high level of being a politician. It's a different outlook. And that's what we need. Because a lot of these people, when we look at the Nancy Pelosi's and, you know, Cory Booker's or whatever, you're talking about lifelong politicians. That's all they know. Hillary Clinton was a lifelong politician. That's all she knows. She does not understand the people. So it's a difference. Even though Donald Trump was wealthy, he still understood what the American people need and want. So when he was president, I got to see how that affected me. And I looked at my bank account. I looked at my clients, what they did for a living. They weren't stressed. They were making way more money, which allowed me to make more money, right? Because they were soliciting my services. So it was the economy was functioning properly. And we were not at war. And on top of that, I was entertained with his press conference. I'm looking at the gas. I'm looking at the groceries. Yes, it was low when Obama left and Trump came in, but it was also maintained under Trump. And then COVID hit, and then everything went to hell. This administration comes in, and it just started getting a tiny, tiny bit better because of Bidenomics, which is a bullshit ass policy in the first place. But on top of that, they're not creating any policies right now within their power to ease the pain for the American people. And eliminating taxes from tips would have been one major step to alleviate the pain from American people. And they couldn't even do that. So you waited for this man to say something that is a great idea, and you want to steal it and put in your policy when you could just make it policy now. So again, hi Catalia, hi Southern Belle. So again, gas was still high. It actually went very low under Obama. And I remember him saying gas is at its lowest because it was like $2. He was like, so why? And he did say this, Obama. He said, listen, why is low? Save your money. You are saving money now because gas is under $2 or $2 or whatever. So that's putting extra money in your pocket every week. American people, y'all should be saving it. So did it start creeping up? Yeah. But when it drops so low and then it starts to rise, you don't. $2.50 is fine, but we're talking about gas got up to damn near over $5. So it was an up down. The point is, we're never going to have anything perfect. I looked at my stocks, the income coming in, the consistency of it, and I was fine. And that made me understand to where stop looking at race, stop looking at gender, stop looking at don't worry about if somebody are racist or not, and start looking at policies and how those policies affect you. That's it. I don't think I do. I think I just look sleepy, but thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It was something else because I went through everything. It was something else that I wanted to share. So this is a woman Kari Lake, she held a press conference in Arizona before Kamala Harris had her rally there. And this was a young woman that spoke at that press conference. Let me see something here. And I wanted to highlight here we go. So Kari Lake and Arizona Republicans hold press conference briefing before VP Kamala Harris campaign visit.
Okay, the people behind us. First of all, I want to take a look at this beautiful crowd. Let me just feast my eyes on this crowd. Hi, everyone. You are looking at an amazing group of Arizonans. You notice I didn't say Republicans. I just said Arizonans. I'm an America First candidate. I'm the nominee for Senate. It's called America First because we want to put Americans first. I didn't say Republicans first. I didn't say independents first or Democrats. We want to put Americans first, and people behind me get that. Many of them are former Democrats. Many of them are currently registered as Democrats. Some of them just voted Democrat before. And everybody behind me is waking up to the fact that the Democrat policies don't work. They don't work for our country. They're devastating. They're devastating the lives of all Arizonans. And so I am honored to have this incredible group. I wish I could have each and every one of them come up and speak, but I want to introduce a couple of folks right now. Vanessa and Gustavo Ayala, please join me. Vanessa.
All right, so
Come on up,
I'm
guys.
just gonna play the whole thing because I just want to fast forward and skip to when she introduces this woman.
But I'm going to introduce Jade Gillum right now. Jade, come on up. Hi. Jade is an incredible young lady, and she wants to talk about her kind of eye-opening experience of waking up to some of the lies of the Democrat Party. So thank you for being here, Jade.
Thank you. I'm flattered that you'd call me young at 44. Thank you. Like Miss Kari said, my name is Jade. I am a former Democrat. Unlike Kamala Harris, I'm an actual real-life Black woman. And I'm a former Democrat who is currently registered Republican. I stand here before you today because I'm tired. I'm tired of the Democrats using the generational trauma of my people to garner votes. They invoke fear. They tell me I'm oppressed. They tell me I'm less than. They tell me I'm not good enough. And they tell me that my white brothers and sisters in Christ are my enemy. No. They are not. As a follower of Jesus Christ, Ephesians 5:11 tells me I must expose the works of the enemy. And the enemy is telling me that don't worry that I can't pay my bills, that I'm working 6 days a week this week and I'm tired. And I went to school and I have a career. I'm doing worse under this administration than in Donald Trump's administration, but I'm told to be afraid of a man who made my life better. Yep. How does that work? Make it make sense. During COVID, I knew more of my white guy friends that lost their jobs than me and my Black girlfriends. We are the same in this country. All these Americans want the same thing. We want safety. We want prosperity. We want peace. And the Democrats keep going back and look, check it out, right? I honor my ancestors and the people who fought for us to be in this room here today. No one is discounting what my people went through, but honor them by getting past it and invoking forgiveness in this culture. I'm so tired of being told I need to be afraid. I'm so tired that I need to be told all the time that I have to vote for the Democrats who have done nothing positive for my life at all. My life is totally worse than it was during the Trump administration. Yet I kept having, you must vote for the Democrats. We're told this as Black people since we were a child. Let's honor our ancestors by doing better and honor them because they're rolling over in their graves hearing the fact that Kamala Harris is having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and showing our bodies as these like just vessels of lust. That's not cool. These women out here are being told that Donald Trump is like their enemy when really Kamala Harris opening up the border, look what happened to Lake and Riley. She's a woman. She was a woman just like I am. No woman, black or white, wants that to happen to her. All of these people whose kids are dying, the black moms, the white moms, they all cry the same color tears.
Yes, yeah.
So let's move past this. Let's vote for Donald Trump so we can all be prosperous again. Let's get out of this fear, this rage, and this anger because it comes from the devil. So hear me, black folks. Hear me, white folks. We are so much more alike than we are different.
Oh, yeah.
We need to forgive each other. We need to help each other. And I don't owe the Democrats anything. They owe me. They're to serve us. They're public servants. Stop putting them on a pedestal. Make them work for us.
Okay, so listen, you know, I completely understand her sentiments because majority of Black Americans are registered Democrats and they have been voting Democrats on a local and on a federal level for decades. And it really started under FDR because people think it started during the Civil Rights Movement. No, it started under FDR, under the New Deal that was ultimately supposed to help Black Americans, and Democrats stabbed us in the back then. And then you fast forward to the Civil Rights Movement era, and it was Martin Luther King Sr., who was, their whole family was Republicans. But when Martin Luther King got arrested, I believe it was in Alabama, and Nixon, I think he was VP at the time, but he was part of the White House administration. He did not get Martin Luther King out of prison. JFK did, or his brother. And from that point on, the Kings shifted and told Black Americans, vote for JFK. So solidified, especially after Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, that solidified all Black Americans to 95% vote Democrat. But it started on the FDA. And if you look throughout the decades, throughout the centuries, since FDR, I said FDA, FDR. If you look throughout the decades, throughout the centuries, since FDR, we have been at the last of the bottom of the barrel. We have not had any progress when it comes to family, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to income, when it comes to home ownership, business, all that. It's partly our fault because we just keep voting blindly and not demanding. And then even our own people who we send to Congress to represent us, because you're going to vote for the people within your community. So if you live in an all Black city or community and you vote for someone and you place them in Congress, because we do have a voting block in Congress called the Congressional Black Congress, Congressional Black Caucus, they don't do anything for Black Americans. And they have not since the 70s. After, basically, really after Adam Clayton Powell era, they have done nothing to help Black Americans. So, but you keep voting these people in. You keep voting the same people to stay in. Even you could vote another Democrat who you know that is going to do a better job, but you keep voting the same people in. So we are to blame. Number one, first person you blame is yourself because you keep doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results. That is insanity. And then number two, a party such as the Democrat Party has been known since FDR to not do anything for Black Americans and to deliberately leave us out of this American dream. So when you have this woman here, Jade, saying, listen, I'm in my 40s, she's in my generation. I had enough. My life was better under the leadership of Donald Trump, and I'm focusing on policies. We are all Americans. We're in this together, which is true. Even though each groups do facilitate specific policies for their groups, especially on a state level. But collectively, we have to look at it. Collectively, we have a problem when it comes to our constitutional rights being chipped away. That is collective. And she's right about that. We are more the same than we're not. And then when you do break it down in subgroups, because that's what every society does, but that is what we do here, it's a bigger problem when we're looking at Black America. And the Democrat Party is just not helping Black Americans. Not saying that the Republicans is going to give us reparations. No, it doesn't work like that. We have to actually demand it and have an agenda. But they give you the opportunity to exercise your constitutional rights without interfering. They don't interfere with your constitutional right so that you can allocate, that you can fight for, that you can advocate for public policies for your specific group. To whereas the Democrat, they interfere. And that's like the basic, simplest way for me to explain it. All the other stuff doesn't matter. Who is in my way when it comes to me advocating for me and my group and my American constitutional rights? Is it the Republicans or is it the Democrats? And that's it for today's show. Listen, thank you, Willie Tusa. Yes, will be great VP. Did Obama drop the most bombs of any president? Yes, he did, Loyal. Yes, he did. He dropped the most drones, and not just on the so-called enemies, but innocent people. He was the president who dropped the most drones. Yeah, without a blink of an eye. Didn't give a damn. And one of those drones killed an American citizen. But he is protected under immunity, the same immunity that these so-called Democrats talking about. They want to disband to the Supreme Court. Well, if you want to disband to the Supreme Court so that you can overturn immunity for the presidents, then get ready to lock up Obama and several others that are still alive. George Bush too. My salary grew under Trump policies. Exactly. And that is what majority of people look at. Am I losing money or am I making money? Not maintaining. Yeah, we all want to maintain, but am I losing or making? That's going to push. That's what you should be looking at. That's going to push the needle of who I'm going to vote for and who I'm not going to vote for. Obama is bomb on America. Yeah. All right, guys. It's refreshing to hear logic instead of, yeah. And the Democrats feed on your emotions. They do. And that is why Black men, you hear more Black men, even though there's still a lot of Black men still voting Democrat, but you hear more Black men vote red. Ain't because they love Donald Trump. It's money. That's all they got. Money, taxes. That's it. It's no brainer. But again, that's still policy. They don't give a goddamn how many times that man said the N-word, if he even said it. They don't care who wearing hoods and who took off the hoods. Who cares? It's about their money. And that goes to policy. Lyndon B. Johnson, that's all he said was in. But he did a lot of things, even in the state of Texas, for Black Americans. So I don't care if you call me a name. As long as you're not interfering with my constitutional rights and trying to take money out of me and my family's mouths. Well, pockets. All right. So listen, everybody, enjoy your week. It's Monday. Oh, honey, I can't be doing this. Now on Monday morning. It's too early. It's way too early. Actually, next time I do this, I'm gonna do it in the afternoon and I'm gonna see, okay, are the numbers higher or whatever. And by the way, I kind of switched up on the thumbnail. I may switch back to the other thumbnail. But next time tomorrow when I do the show, I'm gonna ask you guys which thumbnails do you like? But come on over to the Real Dana tonight because I will be live streaming the Trump and Elon Musk interview. Go hiking. Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to the pet adoption center so we could pick out a dog. And I'm gonna go pick up the dog on Wednesday, but we're gonna go pick it out today, and I'll pick it up Wednesday. And then I'm gonna go hiking. Yeah. But everybody have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys tonight over on The Real Dana. Oh, thank you, Jan. Appreciate you. What is this? I can't even do that. Okay. All right. That's it. Bye. Hmm.